Welcome everyone to this CV storytelling session by Petra Wadström. Thank you all for coming. If you have questions, please submit them in the chat or find an answer to your question in the FAQ placed in the downloads folder of this session. We would like to respond to all your questions at the end of this session. And if we don't have time for it, you will find a PDF with the questions and answers in the same location later on. My name is David Wadström, and I'm part of the Solvatten team and host of this session. So we give it a few more minutes, one more minute. Okay, so by now we all know that the planet is warming fast and change is coming too slow. Structural changes are needed, and it's very little that individuals can do. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the miserable, bleak future that dawns upon us. But doomsday thinking just delays action. New ideas and innovations that can span across sectors holds the key to a better future for all. Ultimately, changing the world has to be a team effort, but it needs the novel idea to start. So let's welcome Petra Wadström, the founder and CEO of Solvatten. It's a social enterprise with a purpose to bring clean and hot water to people at the sharp end of climate change. Petra is a UNFCCC Lighthouse Award winner, the European Union Woman of the Year, a social entrepreneurship pioneer and renowned artist. She's also mother to 4 and grandmother to 9 children. Another member of the family is the Solvatten innovation. It is now being used by nearly 500,000 people in the world, most of them living in sub-Saharan Africa. So tell us, please, what this means for them. Petra, go ahead.
Thank you, David, and welcome to our seminar, our session tonight. It's about safe hot water can save the world. It's a question mark, but we would like to come a little bit deeper into why we had that as a title on our session. This morning, I had a nice warm shower and I did put on the kettle for the morning tea. Actually, I switched it twice, and during the day at office, kettle was on many times. And when I came home, I washed my hands again and again over the day. And then I started to heat water for the pasta meal. And tonight I will probably have another shower, and I'm not alone using safe and hot running from the tap at home, running water. But I am among the lucky ones. So for urban households in Kenya, research shows that 50 to 60% of the energy bill goes to heat water. Energy needs with high power peaks in the mornings and the evenings, often resulting in big power cuts. Everyone takes a shower. To reduce that problem, Kenyan government has decided all new urban buildings should be equipped with solar water heaters. And this is a good plan. And this will, of course, strengthen the resilience of the energy system. But how about the rest of the population living in rural settings, where just about 1% of Kenyan households are connected to the grid, living with no running safe nor running hot water at home, but still have the same needs? Hot, safe water is essential to daily life, from washing hands, preparing food, cleaning the dishes, to showering. 90% of the households in Kenya, rural areas, use firewood or charcoal. And at least the last year, with the COVID-19 pandemic, the restrictions, the poverty has increased, and so has the use of biomass. And with this screenshot, we wanted to show data from, it's about Energy Access Explorer. It's an online open source interactive platform with data from key government agencies. And it shows the areas with the red areas with access to energy service, and the blue areas where it's need to be expanded. It's quite obvious, the map. And half the world cooks with firewood. 3 to 4 kilos to cook a meal on a 3-stone stove. And back to Kenya, yeah, only 6% of the land is forest. 35 million tons is needed to cover the fuel wood every year for the country, and losing approximately 12,000 hectares annually. And the massive deficit in fuel wood supply has led to high rates of deforestation, adverse environmental effects such as desertification and land degradation, droughts, and famine, among others. Many regions and communities are decades away from a well-functioning infrastructure. And of course, this should, from a sustainability point of view, come from renewable energy sources. Yeah, we have all a need to stay clean and have a good health, even in tropical area and tropical and arid areas. It is cold in the mornings and it's cold in the evenings, and the need for access to hot and safe water is part of dignity of life. And to drink the morning tea and having a warm bath needs to have a fire on, and someone has to start it early, and it's probably a woman, a mother. But there are tools to collect and store safe heated water. A thermos flask is necessity for every family. And I'm often thinking on why the question, what do you use the energy for, is so seldom asked. The hot water usage is included in all parts of daily life, from preparing and cooking food, making tea, taking a shower, washing hands and making the dishes and so on. And next slide, this is data from a Solvatten impact evaluation study performed by Lutheran World Federation. And answers are given to the question, what do you use the safe hot water for? And the figures that tells us that drinking tea or coffee is, and also bathing, hand washing, and to speed up cooking has the highest scores. Interesting to, if you ask and have the answers. And thinking about electricity and providing electricity to rural areas, it's with small solar home systems, mostly provides electricity just enough to have lights and some low voltage equipment, but it's not enough energy to run an electric water heater, a stove, or a fridge, or a kettle. And you still live in those tough conditions. And I think that the connection between the needs of the users and the enormous potential of innovation that could and should meet those needs. and to ask and to listen and to use my experience and my imagination to understand the reality. This triggered me to create a solution and to give women a tool to build independency and to release time. And of course, also to use the power of the sun. And I created Solvatten, which is a tool to treat and heat water. And as David said, we have reached a huge amount of people from idea to reality. And Solvatten has today reached more than 80,000 families in 20 plus countries. And this is Solvatten. And it's portable, it doesn't use batteries, and it's a synergetic effect. You fill it with dirty water, contaminated water, and you allow it to in the sun for a couple of hours, and there is an indicator that switches from red to a green happy phase. And the water can be up to 167 degrees Fahrenheit or 75 degrees Celsius. And it's hot for a family of 5 to 6 people on a daily basis, both safe and hot. And it will serve a family for many years. And well kept, it will last through a childhood, we say. And important is that the quality of water also meeting WHO guidelines for safe drinking water with the highest purifying level that treats both for bacteria, viruses, and parasites.
Created Solvatten, a case that UV disinfects water. Unclean water is poured through a fabric filter that catches large contaminants. Then, the case unfolds like a book, ready to catch the sun's purifying rays. After a few hours, a green smiley face indicator lets you know the water is safe to use, ready for cooking, bathing, cleaning, and drinking. With Solvatten, people can collect water from sources closer to their homes that they previously avoided because of how dirty they were, giving them more time to work and earn an income or go to school. Solvatten is simple, effective, and built to last.
Yeah, for many years, we have recorded the data from the users of Solvatten, and the strong reasons for the high uptake and acceptance is that it improves health, it saves time, and it reduces costs. Costs that used to be spent on both fuel wood and high medical expenses. I want to welcome our long-standing partners, International Aid Services in Kenya, who can firsthand describe how their organization uses Solvatten to improve the environment and the quality of life, especially for mothers and children living in rural Kenya. With a recorded interview from last week, please welcome Pamela and Bernard from International Aid Services.
Hi, my name is Pamela Kiambi, and I'm the Solvatten lead volunteer working with International Aid Services Kenya in the RACA program. I'm a youth advocate, I'm a youth leader, and have interest in environment. Yeah, I'm an environment conservation enthusiast, and I really love working with International Aid Services.
Thank you. I'm Bernard Omondi. I work with the International Aid Services as a program support manager. I have a higher diploma in project management and community development. I've worked with IAS for about 15 years now. For Solvatten, I have been overseeing the implementation. This is which means the receiving of the consignment from the shipment and ensuring proper storage and the logistics of the distribution. RACA is, as I said, predominantly arid and semi-arid, which means it's quite dry and the temperatures are quite high. So it's a hot place, having about 35, 36 degrees centigrade. And the area is a county that has a population of about 400,000 people. But then we work in the lower side of Tharaka Nithi. This area is actually an area that suffers from a lot of stresses because of the harsh climatic conditions. The area received below normal rainfall during the rainy seasons, and therefore the area experiences a number of droughts. At least in every 3 to 4 years, there is a drought that occurs in Tharaka, which means that the water is also limited, and the little amount of water that is available is usually a water that is not safe. So many people get their water from the rivers or some springs or some boreholes that have been dug by organizations. The community has been told to be boiling water because of the dangers of unclean water. Actually, Tharaka has had cases of cholera a number of times. And because of that, the Public Health Department has been creating a lot of awareness for the need to make sure that people consume safe water. And they've been actually advocating for boiling of this water using the firewood.
Currently, we are facing a lot of, like deforestation. We are facing a lot of stresses or problems that are actually coming, from the environment, and we need to protect the environment. We need to protect nature, because at the end of the day, we need it. We need to go back to it. And for climate justice, we need to practice, like, it could be smart agriculture, it could be, planting more trees and being able to protect those forest areas that we have, like the forest cover, increasing the forest cover to be able to build on, to conserve the environment.
So people are not connected to the electrical grid?
Around 89% use firewood for daily cooking and other things that really need the fire, and also 80% for charcoal. So generally you would meet like 97% would use charcoal and firewood in our area. Yeah.
Actually, with the pandemic that we have right now of COVID-19, there are those restrictions that were given by the government to ensure that we wash our hands frequently, we wear masks, we keep social distances, and so on. So part of the hand washing, in fact, we took advantage of Solvaten, and in fact are now creating awareness that if you wash your hands with the hot water, it's more hygienic than if you wash your hands with cold water. So Solvaten is playing a key role where fighting the pandemic is also concerned. Yeah, so this is something that we've actually seen. And it has been a requirement in all the schools. We have another project where we support schools with food, that we have hand washing stations. And most of these schools also have Solvaten containers. So if the children wash their hands with hot water, then the hygiene level is higher than if they wash their hands with cold water. Maybe Pamela can also.
We've also seen it very effective in households where they receive visitors and they have this warm water they can actually be able to wash their hands with and soap, so that they can, they can follow the restrictions that have been put across for prevention of COVID-19. Yeah, in the households, even in the offices also, and workplaces.
So now with Solvaten, there is the free sun that they can use now to boil. So this has been an encouragement for more people to adapt this idea of boiling water so that they can consume at least water that is safe. And then from the health department, they've actually recorded reduced number of stomach illnesses, especially for the areas that we have targeted with the distribution of Solvaten. So which means that the people that are using Solvaten, now they have less cases of stomach illnesses. This is confirmed from the records from the hospital, because they can see now that if 20 people came this week because of stomach illnesses, now we only had 3 or 4 cases. So that is actually something that can be seen. And we are so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Of course, even talking about, of course, tree cutting, something that we've also seen is that because of the use of Solvaten, now they have hot water. So they use less firewood, because with the hot water, they can use less firewood to prepare food because of the preheated water from the Solvaten. So if they used to use 3 bundles of firewood, now they use 2 bundles of firewood. So 1 bundle is like 100 shillings.
Yeah.
So which means that they've saved 100 Kenya shillings every week for those that use Solvaten consistently. Yeah.
Many women have these porridge. They have the porridge to feed the children, so they mix it with this warm water, and they feed the children with it. So it's very easy for them to access this warm water very fast and feed the children. Yeah, so it has been a benefit for them so much. Yes.
That's nice to hear. And you said thermos flask. Are they easy available, thermos flask, the people that's normally used in the household to use?
A thermos flask in this area is a necessity, because mostly you would find that they really need like warm porridge, they need warm water, you know, it's a necessity, and they try so hard to have a thermos flask. You would meet most homes with a thermos flask. So it's really a benefit, because even when they heat water with they have like the water from the Solvaten, they can have it in the thermos flask to last long, you know, while hot. Yes.
We are so happy for your time, and this has given us a lot of food for the interesting conference that we are participating since many years. We've been with the Stockholm World Water Week, but it's also good to introduce you and to make people understand what's it's all about. And it's a big work you are doing, and we appreciate very, very much.
Thank you. We appreciate you as the great support that you're giving us, and of course the contribution and of these Solvaten containers that are actually making this difference. So you are playing the biggest part. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pam and Bernard, for the interview. Water, quality water, and water temperature matters more than imagined. If its source is renewable, billions of tons of carbon emission can be reduced, and millions of hectares of forest will be left standing. Can we fill the gap? Can we fill the gap and provide people living in poor regions with quality, safe, and hot water from the sun? I think the journey continues, and I'm convinced that the work to change problems to positive solutions is of uttermost importance for now and for the future. Thank you. And please, David, if you have some comments to add. You.
Classic mistake. But thank you, Petra, Pam, and Bernard for your presentation. We need clearly a coordinated global effort that could accelerate the use of solar water heaters, and treatment technologies, and make sure that the power of the sun is used and distributed more fairly in the world. There is a broken connection here, and we are a small player in this big question. So how can we add this hot water component for future water programs? I don't have the answers really to that, but that is to participants and listeners to fill us into. So please connect with us, and let's move and advance this forward. Thank you very much for stopping by. And now we will be open for questions and look at the chat. If there's been chat or questions coming in, if there is any questions coming in. Julia, maybe you have seen if there is a question or something that we could answer.
No current questions.
Okay, well then we leave early, and we will be, inviting you all to visit also the Solvatten website at solvatten.org and learn more about what we do. And you are all have a nice day and a nice evening here in Stockholm. So thank you.